Hello, and a warm welcome to English Echo, your personal space for listening, learning, and reflecting. I'm so glad you're here. This is more than just a listening channel. It's a place where ideas come alive, stories inspire, and your mind can grow while your ears enjoy the journey. Whether you're here to improve your English, find motivation, or simply take a quiet moment for yourself, you've come to the right place. In today's session, we'll explore a topic that is both simple and profound. Don't waste your life. Life is the most valuable gift we have. Yet too often we let it slip away. We spend hours worrying about the future, dwelling on the past, or following paths that don't truly matter to us. We hesitate to chase our dreams because of fear, doubt, or the pressure of what others expect. But the truth is, life is short, and every moment we waste is a moment we can never get back. In this session, we'll reflect on how to recognize what truly matters, how to act with intention, and how to live fully, without regrets. We'll explore practical ways to focus on your passions, nurture your relationships, and make choices that lead to a meaningful and fulfilling life. As you listen, I invite you to take this time for yourself. Find a comfortable space, put on your headphones, and allow your mind to be open. Let the words you hear today echo in your thoughts, guiding you toward a life of purpose and awareness. Think of this session as a gentle reminder, a nudge, and a source of inspiration to stop letting life pass you by and start making every moment count. Remember, every day is an opportunity. Every decision matters. And the life you dream of is possible if you choose to live intentionally. So, take a deep breath, relax, and let English Echo guide you on this journey of self-reflection, growth, and empowerment. One of the biggest obstacles that prevent people from living a meaningful life is fear of failure. It's a silent force, often unnoticed until we reflect on the paths we never took. Fear of failure doesn't just stop us from trying new things. It can quietly steal years, even decades of our lives. Fear of failure comes in many forms. It might be the hesitation to start a business, learn a new skill, or pursue a passion. It could be the reluctance to speak up, express your ideas, or make important life changes. Deep down, this fear stems from the worry of judgment, embarrassment, or disappointment. We imagine the worst-case scenario and let it control our decisions, convincing ourselves that it's safer not to try. But here's the harsh truth. By avoiding failure, we also avoid life. Every moment spent letting fear hold us back is a moment wasted, an opportunity never seized, a potential unrealized. People often regret the things they didn't do more than the mistakes they made. Waiting for the perfect moment, or for absolute certainty, is a trap that leads to wasted time and unfulfilled dreams. Fear of failure also affects how we view ourselves. It can create self-doubt, erode confidence, and make us question our abilities. This inner voice whispers that we are not good enough, smart enough, or ready enough. If left unchecked, it can dominate our lives, leading to decisions based on safety rather than growth. The connection to not wasting your life is clear. Life is short, and the clock is always ticking. Every year, every month, and every day lost to fear is time you can never recover. You might think you're being cautious, but in reality, you're letting life slip away. Courage doesn't mean being fearless. It means moving forward despite fear. So, how can we overcome the fear of failure and stop wasting our lives? Here are some strategies. Redefine failure. Most people think failure is something to be avoided, a sign of weakness or incompetence. But this mindset is exactly what keeps us stuck. Redefining failure means changing how you see it. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey toward it. When you fail, you learn. Every mistake teaches you something valuable about your approach, your choices, and yourself. Thomas Edison, who famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Understood that every failure was a stepping stone toward success. To stop wasting your life, start seeing failures as feedback, not judgment. Each setback gives you information that moves you closer to your goals. When you redefine failure this way, fear loses its power and action becomes possible. Take small steps. Big dreams can feel overwhelming. When you focus only on the end goal, fear can paralyze you. That's why taking small, manageable steps is so powerful. Small actions build momentum and confidence over time. For example, if your dream is to write a book, you don't start by writing 100 pages in a day. Start with a paragraph, or even a single sentence. The key is progress, not perfection. Small steps make risks feel less intimidating and failures less discouraging. Every little step you take is proof that you are capable of moving forward. Over time, these small steps accumulate into significant achievements, and life stops slipping away unnoticed. Focus on effort, not outcome. Fear often grows from obsessing over results. We worry about failing, being judged, or not achieving perfection. But what truly matters is the effort you put in, not the immediate outcome. When you focus on effort, every action becomes meaningful. Even if you don't succeed at first, the act of trying builds skill, resilience, and courage. A student who studies hard but fails a test still gains knowledge. An entrepreneur who launches a product that doesn't sell still learns how to improve. By valuing effort over outcome, you free yourself from the trap of perfectionism and hesitation. Life is no longer wasted on inaction. Every attempt becomes progress. Learn from others. We don't have to face fear alone. Many people have failed, struggled, and yet gone on to live remarkable lives. Learning from others gives perspective and inspiration. Read biographies, watch interviews, or listen to stories of people who dared to try. Notice how failure was just part of their journey. By seeing their mistakes and successes, you realize that fear is natural, but it doesn't have to control your life. Mentorship and guidance are also valuable. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, take risks, and celebrate effort. Their examples help you act without wasting time and teach you shortcuts to success that only experience can provide. Act now. Finally, the most important step. Stop waiting and start today. Fear loves procrastination. It whispers, "Not now, maybe later," and life quietly slips away. Every day you delay, you waste time you will never get back. Acting now doesn't mean taking giant leaps. You can start small. Send an email, take a first class, make a plan, or speak your mind. The key is to break the inertia. Action defeats fear. Momentum builds courage. Life is too short to wait for perfect conditions, endless confidence, or guaranteed success. By taking action today, you reclaim control of your life and move closer to living with purpose. Life is one of the most precious gifts we have, yet it is often lived carelessly. Many people go through their days without a sense of direction, moving from one moment to the next without thinking about where they are heading. They wake up, follow routines, spend countless hours on distractions, and go to sleep, only to repeat the cycle again. At the end of years or even decades, they suddenly realize that they have not achieved much of what they truly wanted. This tragedy happens because of one central issue: a lack of clear goals. When people do not set goals, they are like ships sailing without a destination, moving endlessly but never arriving anywhere meaningful. To not waste your life, you must understand the importance of having clear goals, because without them, life loses its purpose, direction, and growth. What does it mean to lack clear goals? To lack clear goals means to live without a sense of purpose, without a vision of where you want to be in the future. It is not the same as having small wishes or temporary desires. Everyone wishes for things like wealth, success, or happiness, but wishing is not the same as goal setting. Goals are specific, measurable, and achievable plans that guide your life. When you lack them, you live passively, reacting to whatever life throws at you instead of creating your own path. People who lack goals may still work hard, but their efforts are scattered and unorganized. They may be busy every day, yet at the end of the year, they realize they have not moved closer to anything meaningful. Life becomes a cycle of activity without progress, which eventually leads to feelings of emptiness and regret. Why people fail to set goals. Some people simply do not know what they want. They are overwhelmed with too many options or influenced by too many outside voices. Family, friends, society. Instead of exploring their passions and values, they drift from one idea to another without ever deciding on a clear direction. Many people avoid goal setting because of comfort. They are satisfied with just getting by. Having goals requires effort, planning, and sometimes sacrifice. Without the discipline to push beyond comfort, people remain in the same place year after year. Comfort feels safe, but it also prevents growth, leaving life wasted. Living without goals is like driving a car without knowing your destination. You may keep moving, but you are wasting fuel, energy, and time. The consequences of lacking goals are deep and long-lasting. The first consequence is wasted time. Time is the most valuable resource we have. Yet without goals, people spend it on unimportant things. Scrolling endlessly on social media, watching hours of television, or engaging in gossip. At the moment, these activities feel harmless, but over years, they accumulate into a life that has gone nowhere. Another consequence is lack of growth. Without goals, people do not challenge themselves. They stay in their comfort zone, doing the same things every day. Growth requires effort, but without a target to reach, there is no motivation to push harder. As a result, people remain stuck at the same level of skills, knowledge, and experiences for most of their lives. A third consequence is regret. Many older people say their biggest regret is not what they did, but what they never tried. Without goals, opportunities are missed. Years later, people realize they could have studied more, built a career, created something meaningful, or chased a dream, but it is too late to go back. Regret is the heavy price of living without goals. A life without goals often leads to emptiness. Even if someone has money or comfort, without a purpose, life feels shallow. Humans are designed to strive toward something greater than themselves. Without that sense of pursuit, people feel restless, unfulfilled, and lost. If lacking goals leads to wasted life, then setting clear goals is the path to a meaningful one. Goals give direction. Imagine a sailor at sea without a destination. The wind and waves control the ship. But with a goal, the sailor can adjust the sails, steer the wheel, and use even the strongest storms to move forward. Goals act as that destination for our lives. Goals also create motivation. When you know what you are aiming for, you find energy you didn't know you had. A student who wants to graduate with honors studies harder. An athlete who wants to win a medal reigns with more dedication. A person who dreams of financial freedom finds creative ways to save and invest. Clear goals transform ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Another benefit of setting goals is focus. In the modern world, distractions are everywhere. Without goals, it is easy to waste hours every day. But when you have a clear purpose, you learn to say no to things that do not align with your vision. Focus protects your time and energy, ensuring they are used wisely. Most importantly, goals give meaning. They connect your daily actions to a bigger picture. Waking up early, working hard, learning new skills. These things may feel difficult, but when tied to a meaningful goal, they become purposeful. A life with goals is not just about surviving. It is about thriving, contributing, and creating something that lasts. History and everyday life provide countless examples of people who wasted their potential because they lacked clear goals. Many talented individuals had intelligence, creativity, or resources, yet they achieved little because they never gave themselves a direction. For instance, some brilliant students in school fade into average adults, not because they lacked ability, but because they never developed goals beyond passing exams. On the other hand, history also shows us those who achieved greatness because of clear goals. Consider scientists like Thomas Edison, who set the goal of creating inventions that improved daily life. He failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but his clear goal kept him moving. Or think of athletes who dedicate their lives to a single championship. Their clarity of vision pushes them through pain, struggle, and sacrifice. The difference between wasted potential and realized potential is not talent alone. It is the presence or absence of goals. Talent without direction is like a car without fuel. It will never reach its destination. But even average ability, when guided by clear goals, can achieve extraordinary things. If you want to avoid wasting your life, the most powerful step you can take is to set clear goals. The process is not complicated, but it requires honesty, reflection, and discipline. First, ask yourself, what do I truly want in life? Not what others want for you, but what you value. Maybe it is building a meaningful career, traveling the world, starting a family, helping others, or creating art. Identifying your desires is the foundation of setting goals. Second, write your goals down. A goal that lives only in your mind is just a wish. Writing makes it real and reminds you daily of what you are working toward. Third, make your goals specific and measurable. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, define what success means for you. Is it earning a certain income, publishing a book, or learning a skill? The clearer the goal, the easier it is to pursue. Fourth, break your goals into small steps. Big dreams can feel overwhelming, but dividing them into daily or weekly tasks makes progress manageable. Success is not about giant leaps. It is about consistent steps in the right direction. Fifth, review and adjust your goals regularly. Life changes, and sometimes your path needs to adapt. Checking your progress keeps you on track and prevents drifting. By following these steps, you create a roadmap for your life. Instead of wasting years on distractions, you focus your time and energy on what truly matters. Time is the most precious resource we possess, yet it slips away silently while we convince ourselves that tomorrow will be better. Procrastination is one of the most dangerous traps of human life because it does not announce itself. It sneaks into our routines, disguising delay as comfort, planning, or rest. Most of us have experienced it in some form. A project left unfinished, a dream postponed, a conversation avoided. At first, these delays seem insignificant, harmless even. But over weeks, months, and years, these small acts of postponement accumulate, forming a barrier between who we are now and who we could have become. When someone spends their life waiting, they wait not just for opportunities, but also for confidence, courage, clarity, and inspiration. The truth is, these conditions rarely arrive perfectly. Waiting for the right moment is the surest way to ensure that the moment is never seized. Life does not pause. The days and years continue relentlessly, indifferent to hesitation, and the world does not stop moving just because we are not ready. Every day we delay, we forfeit a chance to shape our story, to create, to learn, or to impact the lives of others. Procrastination is not laziness. It is not simply a matter of poor work ethic. It is a subtle misalignment of priorities and intentions. People procrastinate because their attention is hijacked by the trivial, the immediate, and the easily gratifying. Entertainment, social interactions, habits of convenience, and distractions fill the hours that could have been devoted to creating something meaningful. We allow our energy to be consumed by tasks that neither challenge nor enrich us, while our deeper aspirations remain untouched, gathering dust in the corners of our minds. Consider the young person who dreams of traveling the world. They have maps on the wall, books on distant cultures, and lists of places to visit, yet year after year, they find excuses. I need to save more money. I need to finish one more course. I'm too busy this year. Life passes while the dream remains unfulfilled. By the time they feel ready, their obligations, responsibilities, and fatigue have changed the circumstances, and the world they longed for is now distant, partially inaccessible. What was avoidable delay has become permanent loss. Even the simplest tasks, when delayed repeatedly, can have long-term consequences. Writing a book, learning a skill, or starting a meaningful habit might seem trivial to postpone for a day, but the days add up. Years can pass with little to show, leaving a person filled with dissatisfaction and wonder at how quickly life has gone by. Procrastination acts like a silent architect of emptiness, shaping a future that never aligns with potential or desire. Many people do not recognize procrastination because it often hides behind productive activity. One might spend hours reading emails, checking notifications, cleaning the house, or performing minor work, believing they are being responsible and busy. Yet, the most important actions, the steps that would truly transform life, are avoided. In this way, procrastination is a subtle thief. It allows movement and activity but steals the essence of progress, leaving us exhausted yet unchanged. Throughout history, countless individuals have fallen prey to procrastination. There are stories of scholars who postponed their research, artists who left canvases unfinished, inventors who delayed experimenting, and entrepreneurs who waited for perfect timing. Each delay is a choice, small in isolation but monumental over a lifetime. The world may never notice these lost contributions, but for the person who hesitated, the cost is felt profoundly. It is a lifetime of what-ifs and if only, a quiet ache born of untapped potential. Yet, procrastination is not invincible. It can be confronted and transformed. The first step is awareness, the realization that delay is costing more than comfort. Awareness alone does not change habits, but it opens the door to action. Every moment is an opportunity to reclaim control, to choose engagement over hesitation. A single small act, writing a paragraph, making a phone call, practicing a skill, stepping into a new environment, can set a chain reaction in motion. Action creates clarity, momentum, and a sense of purpose that delay can never provide. One of the most powerful antidotes to procrastination is perspective. To understand the true cost of delay, imagine life as a finite book. Each day is a page, each week a chapter, and each year a volume. Postponing action leaves pages blank, chapters unfinished, and volumes incomplete. When the story is read at the end, the empty pages are painfully obvious, a testament not to failure, but to inaction. The realization that time is finite can inspire immediate action, reminding us that every day matters and every moment lost diminishes the potential richness of our story. Procrastination also thrives on ambiguity and lack of structure. Without clearly defined goals, tasks can feel nebulous, distant, or overwhelming. Even small actions can feel too large when there is no framework guiding progress. By creating clear, manageable steps, individuals can reduce the intimidation factor and replace delay with engagement. This is why establishing habits, routines, and milestones is so important. Each completed step reinforces confidence and demonstrates that action, even imperfect or incomplete, is possible. Life is not meant to be lived cautiously or passively. The act of delaying meaningful work is a slow form of surrender. Dreams are not realized in comfort or in waiting. They are realized in persistent effort, in choosing to act despite uncertainty, doubt, or imperfection. A person who overcomes procrastination discovers that action itself generates energy, motivation, and clarity. Starting is more powerful than waiting. Doing something imperfectly today is better than planning perfectly for an indefinite future. Stories of ordinary people demonstrate how action transforms life. Consider someone who begins a new hobby or business without waiting for perfect conditions. At first, progress is slow and results are modest. But consistent action compounds. Skills grow, ideas evolve, and new opportunities emerge. Over time, the accumulation of small steps leads to extraordinary outcomes, showing that life rewards those who engage rather than those who hesitate. In contrast, the consequences of continued delay are profound. The dreams that were once vivid fade into faint memories. Talents remain undeveloped. Potential remains dormant. Relationships that could have been nurtured are neglected. Experiences that could have enriched life remain unclaimed. Procrastination quietly erodes the fullness of existence, leaving a life that may seem busy but is ultimately unfulfilled. Breaking free from procrastination requires a shift in mindset. It requires embracing discomfort and resisting the lure of trivial diversions. It requires valuing time more than temporary comfort. Most importantly, it requires action. Even imperfect action builds momentum. Even a small step today can transform the trajectory of tomorrow. Life's opportunities are rarely perfect. They are fleeting, fragile, and must be seized in the moment. The journey away from procrastination is deeply personal. It involves confronting the ways in which delay has shaped life and committing to change. It involves choosing engagement, creativity, learning, and persistence over hesitation and avoidance. Each choice to act strengthens character, builds capability, and reclaims time that might otherwise have been wasted. It is in this deliberate, consistent action that life finds meaning and purpose. Procrastination is a decision, repeated over time, to surrender potential to delay. But it is also reversible. Awareness, action, and persistence transform hesitation into accomplishment. The life that might have been lost to endless postponement can be reclaimed through intentional effort. By choosing to act today, even in small ways, the individual begins to shape a life of richness, fulfillment, and purpose. Time is finite and life is short. Every moment delayed is a moment lost. Every decision postponed is a door left unopened. The silent thief of procrastination is relentless, but so is the human capacity for action. Choosing to act now, to engage fully with life, is the path to fulfillment. Every day matters, every effort counts, and every step taken against hesitation moves a person closer to a life that is truly lived. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not let time slip quietly into oblivion while dreams remain unrealized. Act now, take the first step, and continue forward with persistence. Life is too valuable to be surrendered to delay. Do not waste your life. The journey toward purpose, growth, and accomplishment begins today, and every moment of deliberate action is a triumph over procrastination. Life is often filled with voices, some encouraging, some well-meaning, and some unintentionally demanding. From childhood, we are influenced by parents, teachers, friends, and society at large. Their guidance, advice, and sometimes pressure can shape our choices in powerful ways. While guidance is necessary, a life lived primarily to satisfy others is one of the most common paths to wasted potential. When people prioritize the expectations of others over their own desires, talents, and dreams, they drift away from the life they were meant to live. Many begin living by others' expectations unconsciously. A child grows up hearing, "You must become a doctor," or "You need to pursue a stable career." Compliments and praise are often tied to achievements that align with these expectations, reinforcing the behavior. The child learns that approval, love, or acceptance often comes at the cost of personal preference. Over time, following these imposed paths becomes a habit, and the individual rarely stops to question whether these choices resonate with their own identity. The danger of living by others' expectations is that it subtly erodes self-awareness. People start to lose touch with their passions, their strengths, and their authentic desires. They may excel at tasks they never truly cared about, or achieve milestones that bring little satisfaction. Success in the eyes of others does not always translate to fulfillment, and achievement without alignment to personal purpose can leave life feeling hollow. The influence of peers and society can be just as powerful. Social norms, trends, and collective values subtly pressure individuals to conform. People often choose careers, relationships, or lifestyles that are deemed acceptable, rather than pursuing what excites or inspires them. Decisions are measured against what others might think rather than what the heart desires. Over years, these choices accumulate, creating a life that is technically accomplished, yet emotionally empty and disconnected from one's true self. Living by others' expectations can also create an internal conflict between desire and obligation. The mind knows what it truly wants, yet it defers to the imagined judgment of others. This conflict often manifests as anxiety, dissatisfaction, or chronic unease. Every decision is filtered through the lens of approval, leaving little room for personal exploration or risk-taking. The individual becomes a performer on a stage that was not self-designed, living a script written by someone else. A poignant example can be found in the life of a talented artist who pursues a conventional career to please family or society. Their days are consumed by responsibilities, meetings, and routines that do not ignite passion. Nights are filled with the quiet yearning for creativity, ideas left unexpressed. Opportunities to cultivate skill and share art are delayed or ignored, and the individual watches time pass, wondering if the life they imagined will ever arrive. The tragedy is not merely lost talent, but lost years, years that could have been spent living fully, pursuing joy, and contributing uniquely to the world. The consequences extend beyond personal dissatisfaction. Living to meet others' expectations can impact relationships, choices, and well-being. People may marry partners they do not truly connect with, pursue jobs that drain their energy, or invest time in social appearances instead of personal growth. Every decision made under the pressure of others' approval distances life from authenticity, making accomplishments feel superficial and leaving a lingering sense of regret. Breaking free from this cycle requires courage and self-awareness. It begins with introspection, examining which choices reflect personal values and which are responses to external pressure. Journaling, reflection, and honest conversation with oneself can illuminate areas where life has been outsourced to others. Awareness alone, however, is not enough. Intentional action is required to redirect life toward personal purpose. Choosing personal fulfillment over others' approval often involves difficult decisions. It may require changing career paths, ending unfulfilling relationships, or pursuing dreams that others do not understand. These decisions can be uncomfortable and may even provoke criticism. Yet, the cost of continued compliance with external expectations is far greater. A lifetime of regret, unfulfilled potential, and emotional disconnection. The process of reclaiming life from others' expectations is gradual. Small acts of alignment, taken consistently, rebuild autonomy and authenticity. Saying no to tasks that do not serve personal goals, asserting opinions, and dedicating time to passions are initial steps. Over time, these actions accumulate, creating a life increasingly reflective of one's own desires rather than the script of others. Many individuals find that pursuing their own path does not mean abandoning responsibility or respect for loved ones. Instead, it means integrating personal values into decisions, creating a balance between external obligations and internal fulfillment. True success arises when life aligns with both personal purpose and social contribution, not when it merely meets external approval. Living for others is a life half-lived. Time is too precious to be surrendered to the expectations of others. Dreams, talents, and desires must be nurtured and prioritized. Every day spent meeting someone else's standard is a day that cannot be reclaimed. Conversely, living authentically, pursuing passions, embracing individuality, and making intentional choices creates a life that is rich, meaningful, and fully owned. A life spent navigating expectations may appear orderly, respectable, or even successful, but without authenticity, it remains incomplete. The essence of not wasting life lies in reclaiming ownership of time, choices, and action. By consciously choosing a path aligned with personal values rather than the approval of others, individuals unlock a life of fulfillment, purpose, and deep satisfaction. Time is relentless, and the voice of expectation is constant, yet the decision to live authentically rests with each person. Every moment is an opportunity to take control, to prioritize personal dreams over imposed ideals, and to act in alignment with one's own vision. Life is too short to be spent performing someone else's script. To not waste life is to listen to the inner voice, honor personal passion, and courageously pursue the path that is uniquely yours. Living authentically requires daily commitment. It involves continuously examining choices, recalibrating actions, and refusing to allow fear of judgment to dictate decisions. Each step toward independence and self-alignment strengthens confidence and clarifies purpose. The rewards are profound. A life of meaning, engagement, and contribution that reflects the true self rather than the expectations of others. In the end, the choice is simple yet profound. One can live a life guided by external voices, achieving accolades and approval while feeling a persistent void, or one can embrace authenticity, pursuing dreams, passions, and personal growth, crafting a life that is fully lived. Choosing authenticity is choosing freedom, fulfillment, and the true measure of a life well spent. Every day presents a new opportunity to prioritize personal purpose over external expectation. Every decision shapes the legacy of a life not wasted. Do not surrender your story to others. Live it fully, boldly, and authentically. In the modern world, distractions are everywhere, and they are more powerful than ever. The constant buzz of notifications, the endless scroll of social media, and the allure of entertainment have created a culture in which patience is rare and instant gratification is expected. While technology and conveniences have brought countless benefits, they have also made it easier to lose focus on what truly matters. Every moment spent indulging in trivial distractions or fleeting pleasures is a moment that cannot be reclaimed. Over time, this subtle erosion of attention and discipline can transform a life full of potential into one of regret and unfulfilled dreams. Distractions are not always obvious. They often masquerade as harmless breaks, necessary relaxation, or minor indulgences. Checking a phone for a few minutes can turn into an hour. Watching a single episode of a series can become a whole evening. Browsing through social media for just a moment can consume days or weeks over time. Each instance seems small, inconsequential, even reasonable, but collectively, they form a powerful barrier between intention and achievement. Life becomes measured not by growth, creativity, or contribution, but by the fleeting satisfaction of small, immediate pleasures. Instant gratification has conditioned people to expect results quickly and to prioritize comfort over effort. The mind, trained to seek immediate rewards, struggles with delayed outcomes, even when long-term achievements are far more meaningful. Saving for a future goal feels less appealing than spending on a momentary indulgence. Learning a skill, building a career, or cultivating relationships requires consistent effort over months or years, but the lure of immediate pleasure distracts from these investments. The result is a life in which potential remains unrealized, and the dreams that once seemed vivid fade into distant imagination. One of the most destructive aspects of instant gratification is its ability to create a false sense of productivity. People convince themselves that scrolling through endless feeds, playing games, or indulging in passive entertainment is a way to unwind, recharge, or even gather inspiration. Yet these activities rarely contribute to meaningful progress. While they provide temporary satisfaction, they leave the deeper, more important tasks untouched. The mind becomes accustomed to quick rewards, reducing tolerance for the patience and effort required for substantial accomplishments. Consider the story of a young professional with a passion for writing. Every day, they plan to dedicate time to their novel, imagining the joy of completing it one day. But the phone buzzes, social media calls, and videos demand attention. Hours pass unnoticed, and the notebook remains untouched. Weeks become months, months become years, and the dream remains dormant. The pleasure of instant entertainment replaces the satisfaction that comes from effort and creation, leaving the individual with the quiet realization that life has slipped by without progress. Distractions are particularly dangerous because they are invisible in their impact. Unlike failure, which can be measured, or procrastination, which can be identified, distractions quietly consume time without immediate consequence. The days seem full, busy even, but when one looks back, little has been accomplished. The mind is constantly occupied, yet the heart and soul remain undernourished. Life, in this sense, is spent reacting to trivial stimuli rather than proactively creating experiences and outcomes that matter. Society often reinforces this cycle. Entertainment, advertisements, and social trends are designed to capture attention, encourage consumption, and stimulate immediate pleasure. People are trained to respond to every ping, click, or visual stimulus. Over time, the ability to focus, to work patiently toward long-term goals, or to embrace discomfort diminishes. The skill of delayed gratification, which is essential for achievement, fades, leaving individuals trapped in a cycle of constant distraction and temporary satisfaction. Breaking free from the grip of distractions and instant gratification requires conscious effort. It begins with awareness, recognizing how time is spent, identifying habits that consume attention, and observing the subtle ways in which life is being diverted from meaningful pursuits. Awareness alone is powerful, as it illuminates the small, repetitive choices that collectively shape a life. By noticing these patterns, individuals can begin to reclaim their time and focus on what truly matters. Intentional action is the next step. Setting boundaries, creating focused periods for deep work, and reducing unnecessary interruptions are essential. It is not about eliminating all leisure or relaxation, but about prioritizing effort that aligns with meaningful goals. Engaging fully with challenging tasks, pursuing creative projects, and dedicating time to growth and learning builds satisfaction that surpasses the fleeting pleasure of distraction. The rewards of overcoming distractions are profound. Focused attention allows for mastery, creativity, and fulfillment. A musician who practices diligently, a writer who commits daily to their craft, or a student who dedicates time to learning will experience progress, confidence, and satisfaction that instant pleasures cannot provide. Each moment invested in meaningful effort compounds, creating a life rich with accomplishment and purpose. Time, however, waits for no one. Distractions and instant gratification will always be present. The world will continue to demand attention with noise, entertainment, and endless stimulation. Choosing to prioritize depth over immediacy, purpose over pleasure, and effort over ease is the key to ensuring life is not wasted. Every decision to focus, every moment of disciplined engagement, shapes a future aligned with personal goals rather than the fleeting whims of the present. Living a life dominated by distractions is a life half-lived. The opportunities for growth, creativity, and contribution remain untapped while time is consumed by the ephemeral. In contrast, embracing focus, delayed gratification, and intentional effort transforms existence into one of richness and fulfillment. It allows for mastery, meaningful experiences, and the realization of dreams. The power to overcome distractions lies within each individual. It requires courage, awareness, and consistent commitment to action. It is a daily choice to resist the allure of immediate pleasure in favor of long-term achievement and fulfillment. Life is too precious to be surrendered to trivial diversions. Each moment matters, and every effort invested in meaningful pursuit is an investment in a life that will not be wasted. By consciously choosing focus over distraction, patience over immediacy, and effort over ease, individuals reclaim their time and their potential. They transform the quiet passing of days into a life of purpose, growth, and meaningful contribution. In this way, distractions and instant gratification are not merely challenges to be avoided. They are tests of discipline, awareness, and commitment to a life well lived. Do not allow the comfort of fleeting pleasures to steal your years. Do not surrender the potential of your days to trivial entertainment or constant stimulation. Choose depth, engagement, and persistence. Build habits of focus, invest in your goals, and dedicate yourself to the work that will shape the life you envision. Time is finite and every choice matters. By prioritizing what truly matters over what feels easy or immediate, you ensure that your life is rich, meaningful, and fully realized. Life is full of opportunities, dreams, and moments that can shape our future. Yet, many of these possibilities slip away, not because of external circumstances, but because of an internal weakness that is often overlooked: lack of self-discipline. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, the force that turns ambition into action and ideas into reality. Without it, even the most talented, intelligent, or motivated person can drift through life, letting potential fade quietly into regret. Lack of self-discipline often begins subtly. People may tell themselves they will start exercising tomorrow, begin a project next week, or dedicate time to a skill later. These delays, justified by comfort or temporary lack of motivation, accumulate over time. A day skipped becomes a week, a month, and eventually years. The problem is not the missed day, but the habit of surrendering to ease instead of action. When discipline is absent, life becomes reactive rather than proactive. Choices are guided by convenience, desire, or momentary impulses, rather than by vision or purpose. The consequences of lacking self-discipline extend far beyond immediate failure to act. It erodes confidence, weakens resolve, and fosters a mindset of passivity. Individuals may feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck, as if their goals are just out of reach. The dreams that once inspired excitement now seem distant and unattainable, not because of lack of talent, but because of the consistent failure to take deliberate action. Life, in this sense, is slowly surrendered to inertia. Self-discipline is not about punishment or deprivation. It is about control over one's choices and actions, prioritizing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Those who cultivate it develop the ability to persevere through challenges, maintain focus despite distractions, and commit to actions that align with their goals. In contrast, without discipline, even small challenges become obstacles, and the simple act of completing a task can feel overwhelming. Consider a young entrepreneur who dreams of launching a business. Without self-discipline, their days are filled with distractions. Social media, idle conversation, and trivial tasks. Hours that could have been invested in research, planning, or networking are lost. Weeks pass, and the idea remains unrealized. The absence of discipline, not lack of creativity or resources, is the true barrier. Over time, the entrepreneur may lose confidence, believing that opportunities have passed, when in reality, the obstacle was internal. Lack of self-discipline also affects personal growth. Learning a new skill, cultivating relationships, or maintaining health all require consistent effort. Skipping practice, ignoring commitments, or postponing difficult tasks may feel harmless in the moment, but these choices compound. Small lapses grow into patterns of neglect, and years later, individuals may realize that their abilities, potential, and relationships are far less developed than they could have been. One of the most insidious effects of poor self-discipline is its impact on mindset. When people fail to act consistently, they often blame circumstances, external obstacles, or lack of opportunity. This mindset fosters a cycle of avoidance and rationalization, in which responsibility for action is ceded to luck, timing, or other people. The truth, however, is that consistent, disciplined effort is the primary differentiator between those who achieve their goals and those who drift through life. Developing self-discipline requires intentional practice. It begins with small choices, committing to 1 hour of focused work each day, dedicating time to learning, or adhering to routines that foster growth. These actions, though modest at first, build momentum and reinforce a mindset of capability. Discipline is cumulative. Each act strengthens the habit of taking control rather than surrendering to impulse or convenience. The rewards of self-discipline are profound. Those who cultivate it find that challenges become manageable, goals become attainable, and time becomes a tool rather than an enemy. Discipline transforms potential into achievement, ideas into results, and intentions into reality. It allows individuals to live intentionally rather than reactively, creating a life aligned with personal values and purpose. History is filled with examples of individuals whose self-discipline shaped extraordinary lives. From artists and inventors to leaders and athletes, the ability to consistently apply effort, resist temptation, and prioritize growth separates those who leave a lasting impact from those whose talents remain dormant. Time, resources, and opportunity are available to many, but only those with self-discipline harness them effectively. Lack of self-discipline, in contrast, leaves life fragmented and unfulfilled. Talents remain underdeveloped, goals remain unrealized, and potential fades. Life becomes a series of intentions that never materialize, leaving a lingering sense of regret and frustration. It is a quiet form of life wasted, because the barrier was never external, it was internal, a failure to act with consistency, focus, and purpose. The path to overcoming lack of self-discipline is through awareness and practice. Recognizing the habits and choices that undermine action is the first step. Committing to daily practices that align with goals is the next. Gradually, discipline strengthens, creating a foundation for consistent achievement and a life that is fully lived. It is not an overnight transformation, but a steady process that compounds over time. A life without self-discipline is a life surrendered to impulses, convenience, and delay. A life with self-discipline is a life actively designed, purposefully directed, and meaningfully experienced. Every day is an opportunity to practice control over one's actions, to invest in growth, and to build the life one envisions. By embracing self-discipline, individuals reclaim their power over time, action, and destiny. Time is finite, and life is too valuable to be wasted on inconsistency and indecision. Every moment surrendered to distraction, comfort, or avoidance is a moment lost forever. The true measure of a life well lived lies in the consistent effort to act in alignment with purpose, to prioritize growth over ease, and to turn intention into tangible results. Self-discipline is the key to transforming potential into reality. It allows individuals to move beyond hesitation, distractions, and temporary desires, focusing on what truly matters. Through deliberate, consistent effort, life becomes a reflection of personal vision rather than circumstance. Every choice to act, every commitment kept, and every habit built is a step toward a life that is not wasted. A life fully owned, fully realized, and fully meaningful. In the end, the choice is clear. Surrender to the moment, drifting through life without focus, or cultivate self-discipline and take control of time, action, and destiny. The effort may be difficult, the path may be uncomfortable, but the reward is immense. A life of fulfillment, purpose, and achievement. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen discipline, align with goals, and move closer to the life you were meant to live. Do not waste it. The mind is a powerful force, capable of shaping reality, influencing choices, and defining the quality of life. Yet, when negativity dominates thoughts, it quietly erodes potential, undermines progress, and wastes precious time. A negative mindset is not simply feeling sad or frustrated. It is a pattern of thinking that interprets challenges as obstacles, possibilities as threats, and failures as permanent. It is a lens through which the world is filtered, coloring every decision, every interaction, and every dream with doubt, fear, and limitation. Living under the influence of a negative mindset often begins subtly. Small thoughts of self-doubt, criticism, or pessimism may appear harmless at first. I'm not good enough, it won't work, or I always fail, might seem like passing reflections. Yet when repeated daily, they embed themselves into the subconscious, shaping perception and behavior. Over time, these thoughts form habits of interpretation, influencing how a person sees opportunities, evaluates risks, and engages with life. The result is not just a mood, but a consistent pattern that limits action and achievement. A negative mindset impacts life in profound ways. It prevents people from taking risks, trying new experiences, or pursuing their goals fully. Every decision becomes filtered through fear or doubt. Challenges are magnified, successes minimized, and potential ignored. The energy that could have been invested in growth, creation, or learning is instead consumed by worry, criticism, and imagined failure. In this way, negativity functions as a subtle thief, stealing both time and the possibility of progress. Consider the story of a young professional with ambitions to start a business. Their mind is filled with doubts. What if I fail? What if no one supports me? I don't have the experience. These thoughts, repeated daily, prevent action. Months pass as the dream remains unrealized, consumed by fear and pessimism. The business, which could have been an avenue for growth, creativity, and financial independence, remains a distant possibility. In this scenario, the negative mindset is the true obstacle, not circumstances, not resources, but the way the mind interprets reality. Negativity also shapes relationships and social interactions. Individuals with a negative mindset often approach others with suspicion, judgment, or resentment. They may withdraw from meaningful connections, avoid collaboration, or interpret feedback as criticism rather than guidance. Over time, this isolation reinforces negative thinking, creating a feedback loop that magnifies self-doubt and diminishes opportunity. Life becomes a series of missed connections, lost collaborations, and unexplored experiences. A negative mindset is particularly dangerous because it disguises itself as realism or caution. People convince themselves that their pessimism is practical thinking, that focusing on potential failure is preparation, or that avoiding risks is wisdom. Yet, while caution is sometimes valuable, chronic negativity is not protective. It is paralyzing. It convinces individuals to wait, hesitate, and limit themselves, while life continues moving, indifferent to hesitation or fear. Breaking free from a negative mindset requires both awareness and deliberate effort. Awareness begins with recognizing habitual thoughts and patterns of interpretation. Journaling, reflection, and mindfulness can illuminate the ways in which the mind interprets events negatively and sabotages potential. By observing these patterns without judgment, individuals gain clarity on how negativity has shaped their decisions and experiences. The next step is intentional reframing. This does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending life is perfect, but rather choosing to interpret circumstances through a lens of possibility, learning, and growth. Mistakes become lessons, obstacles become opportunities, and setbacks become temporary rather than permanent. This shift allows action to replace hesitation, hope to replace doubt, and progress to replace stagnation. Time is relentless, indifferent to doubt or pessimism. The world will continue moving, presenting opportunities, challenges, and experiences, whether one is ready or not. A negative mindset may delay action, diminish courage, or obscure possibility, but it cannot stop the passage of time. The cost is not just in missed achievements. It is in the gradual erosion of potential, confidence, and fulfillment. The antidote to a negative mindset is choice. It is the conscious decision to observe thoughts without surrendering to them, to interpret life with curiosity rather than fear, and to act despite uncertainty. Every small step toward positivity, every intentional act of courage, and every decision to focus on opportunity rather than limitation compounds over time, transforming the trajectory of life. To not waste life, it is essential to recognize that mindset is not fixed. Negativity is not a permanent condition but a habit that can be reshaped. Through awareness, reflection, action, and persistence, the mind can be trained to perceive possibilities, embrace challenges, and approach life with confidence and hope. This transformation is not just mental, it manifests in choices, actions, relationships, and ultimately, in a life lived fully. A life freed from negativity is one of clarity, purpose, and engagement. Every moment becomes a chance to learn, grow, and contribute. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen character. Every action moves a person closer to the life they envision. By transforming mindset from limitation to possibility, individuals reclaim time, energy, and potential, ensuring that life is not wasted on fear, doubt, or pessimism. In the end, the choice is profound: to drift through life through the lens of negativity, or to engage fully with optimism, constructive thinking, and growth-oriented action. The path may require effort, courage, and patience, but the reward is immense: a life of fulfillment, achievement, and meaning. Do not waste your life allowing negativity to dictate your story. Choose perspective, embrace possibility, and act boldly. Every thought, every choice, and every moment is an opportunity to live fully, purposefully, and intentionally.